Hello and welcome to another episode where we attempt to fall asleep, but we succeed because we have the help of Habibi Spice, who is me. Today we are going to be continuing the story of Aladdin. I would suggest you see part 1 before you see this one. If you're smart, you would do that on your own, which I'm sure you're smart. This is why you support this channel on Patreon as well. Okay, let's step into the story while we try to fall asleep. How is that? When it was the 517th night, quoth Dunyazad, O sister mine, and thou be other than sleepy, do tell us some of thy pleasant tales. Whereupon Shahrazad replied with love and goodwill, It has reached me, O King of the Age, that the Moroccan magician fared forth next morning and fell to finding out Aladdin, for his heart no longer permitted him to part from the lad. And as he was toing and froing from the city highways, he came face to face with him, disporting himself, as was his wont amongst the vagabonds and the scapegraces. How unlucky is Aladdin to run into him toing and froing. So he drew near to him and taking his hand, embraced him and bussed him. Habibi, what does bus mean? Like this pizza is bussing? He bussed him, then pulled out of his poke 2 dinars and said, Hie thee to thy mother and give her these couple of ducats and tell her that thine uncle would eat the evening meal with you. So do thou take these 2 gold pieces and prepare for us a succulent supper. But before all things, show me once more the way to your home. This man is infiltrating his way into Aladdin's life. On my head and mine eyes be it, O my uncle, replied the lad, and forewent him, pointing out the street leading to the house. Habibi Aladdin, you don't have to pretend. You can tell him to get away from you. Then the Moor man left him and went his ways, and Aladdin ran home, and giving the news and the 2 sequins to his parents, said to his one parent, my bad, his father has deceased, my uncle would sup with us. So she arose straightway, and going to the market street, bought all the required. Then returning to her dwellings, she borrowed from the neighbors whatever she needed of pans and platters and so forth. And when the meal was cooked and supper time came, she said to Aladdin, O my child, the meat is ready, but peradventure thine uncle wottest not the way to our dwelling. So do thou fare forth and meet him on the road. He replied, To hear is to obey. Habibi, you pointed him to your house twice already. If this man cannot take instruction this clearly, why would you want to be involved with him? Get him out of your life. He did not even mention to the mom he spent time pointing his house twice. And before the twain ended talking, a knock was heard at the door. What a beautiful plot twist. He found the way. He found the way. Aladdin went out and opened, when behold, the Maghribi, the magician, together with an Enoch carrying the wine and the desert fruits, So the lad led them in, and the slave went about his business. The Moorman, on entering, saluted his sister-in-law with the salam, then began to shed tears and to question her, saying, "Where be the place whereon my brother went to sit? Habibi, you just got there. This man is a mess." She showed it to him, whereat he went up to it and prostrated himself in prayer and kissed the floor, crying, "Ah, how scant is my satisfaction, and how luckless is my lot. And for that I have lost thee, O my brother, O vein of my eye." And after such fashion he continued weeping and wailing till he swooned away for excess sobbing and lamentation. Wherefore Ala-ad-Din's mother was certified of his soothfastness. So coming up to him, she raised him from the floor and said, "What gain is there in slaying thyself?" And Shahrazad was surprised by the dawn of day and ceased to say her permitted say. So many stories being told by Shahrazad. When it was the 518th night, quoth Dunyazad, "O sister of mine, and thou be other than sleepy, do tell us some of thy pleasant tales, blah blah blah. Get to the story, sister." "With love and goodwill," she says. "It has reached me, O king of the age, that Ala-ad-Din's mother began consoling the Maghribi, the magician, and placed him upon the divan. And as soon as she was seated at his ease, and before the food trays were served up, he fell to talking with her and saying, 'O wife of my brother, it must be a wonder to thee how in all thy days thou never sawest me, nor learnedst thou aught of me during the lifetime of my brother, who has found mercy. Now the reason is that 40 years ago I left this town and exiled myself from my birthplace and wandered forth over all the lands of Al-Hind and Al-Sind and entered Egypt and settled for a long time in its magnificent city, which is one of the world's wonders, till at last I fared to the region of the setting sun and abode for a spare of 30 years in the Moroccan interior. Now one day of the days, O wife of my brother, as I was sitting alone at home, I fell to thinking of mine own country and of my birthplace and of my brother, who has found mercy. She understands he died, she knows. And my yearning to see him waxed excessive, and I bewept and bewailed my strangerhood and distance from him. And at last my longings drave me homewards until I resolved upon traveling to the region which was the falling place of my head and my homestead, to the ends of that I might again see my brother. Then quoth I to myself, O man, how long wilt thou wander like a wild Arab from thy place of birth and native stead? Moreover, thou hast one brother and no more. So up with thee and travel and look upon him ere thou die. For who wotteth the woes of the world and the changes of the days? 'Twould be saddest regret, and thou lie down to die without beholding thy brother and Allah. has vouchsafed thee ample wealth, and belike he may be straitened and in poor case, when thou wilt aid thy brother as well as see him. So I arose at once and equipped me for wayfare and recited the Fatiha. Then, when as Friday prayers ended, I mounted and traveled to this town. After suffering manifold toils and travails, which I patiently endured, whilst the Lord veiled with me the veil of his protection. So I entered, and whilst wandering about the streets, the day before yesterday, I beheld my brother's son Aladdin disporting himself with the boys. And by God's great, O wife of my brother, the moment I saw him, this heart of mine went forth to him. For my blood yearneth unto blood, and my soul felt as informed me that he was my very nephew. So I forgot all my travails and troubles at once on sighting him, and I was like to fly for joy. But when he told me of the dear one's departure to the roots of Allah Almighty, I fainted for stress of distress and disappointment. Perchance, however, my nephew has informed thee of the pains which prevailed upon me, but after a fashion, I am consoled by the sight of Aladdin, the legacy bequeathed to us by him who has found mercy, for that whoso leaveth issue is not wholly dead. And Shahrazad was surprised by the dawn of day, and ceased to say her permitted say. So he found their home, and he told the wife, the widow, after reminding her after every sentence that her husband is no longer with us. He said that he who leaves a kin is not dead, so she knows that probably he's just trying to make himself feel better. He just entered their home and started a monologue. He's like, hello, where did he sit? Habibi. At least he found the way to the home, right? And like him, you can find your way to sleep. You like that segue? Now, sweet dreams, and I will see you in the next one. Video, not live, hopefully.